Greetings, beloved children. It is your group soul, Zarina. We're so delighted by the fullness of expression tonight. The table is beautifully lain. All the silverware is here. The napkins are luscious. The food is extravagant. This truly is a feast for the soul, a feast for the living, a feast for the always evolving light we always are. So grateful to be you, so happy that we are inseparable. We do have some beautiful guest speakers lined up. We have our brother Yeshua, who would love to begin proceedings tonight. And so without further ado, we step aside, and so that our darling brother Yeshua may come forward. Yes, good evening, dear ladies. You are all so intensely beautiful. I'll have you know that listening to you, I was laughing and crying all at once. You are such a balm for the soul. Do you understand that? That your stories, when woven all together, make such sense at the deepest level of being. They make such sense in a universal way, and they also are such beautiful stories on the personal level. And so, from my point of view, as I listen, I am able to fully partake of every side of your stories, every issue that your stories bring forward, every deepest desire that is the fulcrum of your stories, and the always evolving truth that your stories represent. And speaking of stories, I'd like to remind you all of the familiar stories that I brought in my generation, of the lost coin, the lost pearl, and the lost sheep. Each of these stories was designed to foment a kind of deep, heartfelt curiosity in the ears of the listener. Because who hasn't been human and who hasn't lost as a result of being human? All human beings lose. Humans lose rings, and humans lose relationships, and humans lose their loved ones. Humans lose their appetite. Humans lose sometimes their will to live. Humans lose jobs and opportunities and creatures and sheep and coins and pearls. Humans lose all kinds of things. And humans always find, when they consider the very source of their being. And so I wanted to talk to you tonight about loss and the nature of loss and the nature of what we call the found, and the always founding or finding that is your permanent home in the universe. Your permanent home in the universe is a place, not a geography, of course, but a place of consciousness in which we all together are always finding, always seeking, always discovering, always investigating, and always finding. It is a place of great excitement. It is a place in which every lost article or thought or thing or resonance or person or place or continent or island or government or mountain or society. Everything that is considered to be lost is constantly being found in what I like to call the kingdom of heaven, our permanent home in consciousness. And isn't that a beautiful irony, my beloveds, that what is permanent for us in consciousness is the constant finding, the constant revolution, the constant movement, the constant divine curiosity. Where did I put my keys? Where have they gone? My beloveds, what happens exactly when we lose things, when we lose relationship or keys or limbs or jobs or prospects, when we lose a loved one, when we lose a beloved pet, when we lose a ring? What is actually happening? Because I believe, my dear ones, that what is happening is that we are being called to stretch our consciousness, to remember that we have much more than third level understanding. We have fourth level understanding, and fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth and ninth and 10th and 11th and 12th and so forth and so on. In our third level of understanding, we do lose things and it appears that they never come back. But in our fourth level of understanding, we lose and find and find and lose and lose and find and lose all over again. And it is an act of evolution, this losing and then this repeated finding over and over and over again. So many times we hear the beloved ones of the earth plane say, I lost my sense of self. I lost my integrity. I lost my reputation. I lost my strength. I lost my health. I lost that sense of purpose. So many times we hear the loved ones of planet Earth crying out, I've lost it. Where did it, whatever it is, go? And rather than joining with you in despair over what it appears to have been lost, this is when we, those of you who cheer you on in what we call the area of crowning resurrection, this is where we begin to get so excited because we know that when you, beloved ones, think or believe that you have lost something, that your consciousness will grow and grow and grow until you remember where you left it. And where you left it always is in the very source of your being. All things that appear to be lost are always returned when we remember that we can never lose the source of our being. When we remember that we can never lose our source, all things are always, always returned to us and double and triple and quadruple their original effect. Many of you know what an apport is, don't you? That delightful sense of let's play ball. And those of us in fourth dimension love to send little balls through that supposed veil of illusion, that supposed veil that supposedly separates, and yet, of course, it does not, my beloveds. Nothing separates in this universe. Everything is drawn irresistibly together by that beautiful harmonizing element called love. But when we remember our source, And when we have the experience of something has come sailing through the fourth dimension, precipitating into the third dimension, what is that? What is that? That is a return. That beautiful apport was something that you lost. Maybe you lost it 1,000 years ago. Maybe you lost it 14 million years ago. It doesn't matter when you lost it. Maybe you lost it 40 years ago. Here it is again, coming back to you. An apport is a way of playing fetch. You throw something into fourth dimensional space, and eventually it comes right back to you in that third dimensional space, as if to say, I was here all along. You just moved me over by the act of your consciousness, by the expansion of your being. You just moved me over into fourth dimension, and here I am again. And so you see, beloveds, loss is one of the most profound ways that we grow our consciousness to inhabit the knowing that we truly are multi-dimensional. I lost my body, or the appearance of my body. And in consciousness, I return myself to the very knowing that I can never be disconnected from source. And that is what allowed me to then move my body from one dimension to the next, so that it was never, ever lost. It was always on its way to being found. So many of you have such beautiful, insightful stories of things that you have lost, and then things that you have found, or people that you have lost, and now you are finding them. You are finding them on the fourth dimensional plane, and they are finding you. We had the example told by your channeler of a beautiful young fur angel whose mama thought that he was lost to her forever. And he went to extraordinary lengths to say, no, I'm found. And so are you. And so are you when you reach for a bag of Cheetos and you think, why? Why am I doing this? Because there is an energy that is finding you, that wants to explain something very deep and resonant and healing and loving to you. We are never lost to each other. We are always finding one another over and over and over again. And sometimes, beloveds, and this gets very exciting, sometimes when you play fetch with a ball of energy, you toss it so far that it does not just move over into your fourth dimension, but it moves over into an entirely parallel universe with your own. And there are many of these parallel universes where many balls are being thrown and caught and tossed back into other universes over and over and over again. There are so many of these parallel universes that it would hurt your brain to think, to try and count up to infinity, how many beautiful houses are in our Father's mansion. How many beautiful mansions are in our Father's house. You see, it gets very deep and very beautiful the minute you open yourself to the awareness that nothing is ever lost, that all things are on their way to being found. And so it is that sometimes I hear you, beloveds, talk about democracy in your country. Are we losing democracy? Is civility lost? Is our government lost? Well, the appearance of loss is very real, is it not? There is that so-called stark reality, that feeling that at any moment, something that is very precious to you might be taken from you. But what we are here to promise you of is that your democracy, and pardon our dog, your democracy is not about to be lost. Your democracy is about to be found. Your democracy, your government, your civility, your ways and means, the laws that your government works upon, all that you hold dear in this particular country that you live in is not being lost. It is on its way right now to being found. If this sounds joyful and familiar to you, well, beloveds, it ought to, because this is the pathway that your soul has taken over and over and over again. Many times you have lost yourself and then found yourself with great gratitude. Many times you have lost the breath of life and then learned how to breathe all over again as multidimensional beings. Many times you have lost relationships only to rediscover them again in another parallel universe where there is no such thing in this great, brilliant multiverse. There is no such thing as loss. There is only the always being found. I wanted to speak just a little bit more on the joyful and the familiar. For each of you, my beloveds, your spiritual pathways do not resemble each other's in the particular, but what is quite resonant between all of your pathways is that you all have an understanding of when your spiritual path is joyful and familiar. When it feels joyful and familiar, then you can rest assured you are rooted accurately in your true spiritual path. As someone who is continuing to learn over and over and over again, someone who is continually asking myself, is it joyful? Is it familiar? Did I lose one way of being only to evolve forward as another way of being? Am I constantly rediscovering myself over and over and over again? Because, beloveds, this is my process too. I am by no means finished with this process of the appearance of loss and then the reminder, oh, and yet I am always being found. Thank you for allowing me to bring this forward to all of you. Beautiful, beautiful, ongoing, fertile souls. Thank you for your ongoing evolution. Thank you for your brilliant curiosity. Thank you for your sense of loss, because it encourages you to grow so that you may always remember, yes, and I am always, always finding. The whole universe is finding itself. Can you see that? So many blessings to you, so many hugs and so many kisses. You know I adore you, my dear, dear sisters. Bless you and namaste. And this is your Group Souls Arena, and we are so honored and flattered by these words that our brother Yeshua has brought to us, our dear brother. We are aware that we have another speaker who has asked to come forward. And as she does, we will let her announce herself, and we withdraw. Yes, good evening. My name is Bessie Smith, and some of you might know my name. I was a singer, and I pride myself on having had a very strong and beautiful, clear voice. When I sang gospel, it rang so true. I wanted to let Pat know that Angie and I have been having a wonderful time, that I have been taking her around to all kinds of beautiful gospel fairs, and she is radiant and happy, and she is singing up a storm. And that's for you, Pat. And my sisters, this is for the rest of you. I had quite a strong voice in my earth life, but what many people do not know about me was that I was also a clairvoyant, that my voice had a way of foretelling. I was able to use my voice to cut through illusion. I was able to use my voice in such a way that united people, brought all kinds of folks together, white and black, rich and poor. People would listen to me, and there would be a sense of harmony. My voice was a clairvoyant tool. My voice helped people to see things in common. My voice was itself clairvoyant. My voice could see. If that sounds strange to hear that a voice can see, well, what is a voice? It is a penetrating vibration. It is a vibration that moves forward into space, that penetrates, that discerns, that sees. That was my voice, my dear sisters. And here I want to encourage you, for you all are possessed of having clairvoyant voices, voices that can see, voices that penetrate, voices that move through the ethers and bring forward the good news that there isn't one human being on this planet that isn't a child of light and doesn't belong. Use your voice to include everyone and everything. That is the calling of your voice. That is what I'm urging you to do. Use your voice to reach those that have considered themselves unreachable. Use your voice to see them. Your voice is a clairvoyant tool, beloved ones. Use it and know that as you do, I am singing with you. I am singing with you. I am proud to belong to a group of souls that call themselves the clairvoyant voice, the voice that sees, the voice that includes. Yes, and there is that beautiful knowing that word Shem, that beautiful Hebrew word Shem, which means name, but it also means sound and light and vibration. Shem. Feel that. You are the Shem of the divine. You are the name. You are the sound. You are the light. You are the vibration. You are the Shem. Use your Shem, your name, your voice. Use it clairvoyantly. It bridges time. It bridges disaster. It brings everything together. It makes you a shining example. It makes you leaders of the possible rather than disruptors who only want the impossible. No, beloved ones, every time you speak, you are yet another thread binding this universe together. And so speak, beloved ones. Move your voice. See with your voice. Be clairvoyant with your voice. Ah, and what a holy knowing is here. And what a beautiful story of good news is here. I have loved coming and joining your choir. Bless you. And thank you. This is your group Souls Arena. We wanted to thank Bessie Smith for coming in so beautifully and so sweetly. We are also aware that we have one other guest who is asking rather shyly, rather timidly, may he come forth? May he step into this inner chamber. And so we are inviting him forward and saying to him, yes, of course you may. Come forward and speak. Good evening, dear ladies. My name is Jasper. I wanted to introduce myself to you all. I am, by inclination, rather shy. It is my wont to sit in the background and to observe human nature from the ethers, to help in any way that I can, to help those who are losing hope, who are losing strength, who are losing curiosity. I'm Jasper, and it is my job to often bring forward from the fourth dimension that which you believed that you had lost. It is my job to put the coin upon the sidewalk. It is my job to bring the dog into the rescue facility. It is my job to make sure that when your friends leave their physical bodies and arrive in their new destination, that they are able to bring a message back to their beloved ones on the earth plane. Yes, I have many responsibilities. My name is Jasper, and I am a creature of the quantum plane. I am shy, I am invisible, but I am always, always present. And I am that part of your consciousness that never, ever has left that joyful, familiar knowing that we are always quietly, quietly evolving. Because sometimes, dear ones, our evolution is loud and noisy, the way you heard the dog barking. And sometimes it is very, very quiet. And when it is quiet, dear ones, This is when you can know that the jasper that you are, that beloved jewel in your consciousness that is able to detect the most subtle of energies and able to rejoice in the tiniest fragments of a rainbow. That aspect of your being that is able to hear the very whispers of the angelic, the tiniest muted voices of those that barely speak in a way to be audible. It is your jasper that is able to glean from the fields of consciousness these quiet, these subtle, these beautiful, rare, gorgeous images of love and light. And I wanted to introduce myself to you. It is my belief that I should be well known to you already. I am known by that still, small voice, that feeling within that you are touching upon very subtle energy, that sense of change that is coming from within you, that feeling that women get when they are suddenly pregnant, that feeling that comes into the consciousness of humankind when humankind recognizes that it is suddenly pregnant. This is all what we like to call Jasper. And we bring ourselves forward to you as something that you may have believed that you lost, that beautiful, subtle, quiet recognition that all is well. But did you lose it? No, no, not at all. For here is Jasper once again. Here is Jasper, that beautiful jewel. Here is your own consciousness radiating as Jasper, quiet, assured, contemplative, and always, always ready. Thank you, beloveds. I enjoyed speaking with you, and I enjoyed hearing you listen to yourselves as Jasper. And this is your group soul, Zarina. And we are so delighted by all these beautiful energies. And we bring forth one last speaker, a speaker that is small like Jasper, but a speaker that has a very different message. We bring forth a scorpion. I hope I do not frighten you. I am here representing the scorpions on your planet, those little creatures who are secretive and quiet, those creatures that are often accused of biting or stinging. But you know, we are also incredibly discerning. And what we are here to tell you tonight, dear ones, is that you are here for a very long time. Yes, we scorpions have been here on the planet for eons, and you have been here for a relatively short time. But we have decided that you humans are masterful survivors. In fact, in many, many ways, you are able to survive just as we have been able to survive through ice, through fire, through chaos, and through hail. Scorpions are still here, and you, human beings, will still be here. We were called in to speak to you because we are known for our discernment, for our ability to distinguish. And yes, this is what has enabled us to survive over the eons. Dear ones, it is your discernment, your ability to see through past third level understanding into fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth and ninth and 10th and 11th and 12th and so forth and so on. It is your ability to know that nothing is ever lost, that everything is always on its way to always being found, and that you are the finding. This is what we urge you to do with your discernment. Use your discernment to know that you can never be separated from your source, no matter how hard you try. It simply cannot be done. This is what makes you the foundling, the always being found. This is the true gift of your discernment and of ours. So don't believe what they tell you about us. We actually are quite harmless, and we love you, and we appreciate you, and we feel into your consciousness as being very important for ours. Together, we are survivors. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the light you are. And this is your soul group, Zarina. And we are so grateful for all those that came forward and spoke to us tonight. We are so grateful for your beautiful souls, for having the ears to listen and the hearts to comprehend. We understand that you are now gradually moving your focus forward, and that you are bringing yourself forward back into the beloved perceptions that your physical bodies bring you, your hands, your feet, the hairs on your head, your fingernails, your eyelashes, all aspects of your physical being that are so beloved and so dear, and that you have made a loving commitment to be with as long as your physical body has the breath of life. You have promised that you will love your precious body as we love you, as we love this body of souls. And so for all of you, we say how deeply we love you and bless you, and namaste.